Thank you. And you are good to go, Lisa.
Okay, so invocation is,
We have no invocation scheduled for this meeting.
okay. So we're calling this meeting to order at 2:09 p.m. Is that correct?
I have 2:07.
Okay, 2:07. And we will have a roll call. All those, let's see, we've got Chris here, we've got myself here. We've got Tina here. Anybody else?
Lynn's here.
Lynn's here, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Lynn is here.
Okay.
And we did have a communication from Matthew that he's not able to be here, and Michaela had indicated at last month's meeting that she was not going to be available, and so we recommend both of those would get excused absences for today.
Okay. Well, do we have a quorum?
We do, yes.
Okay. Good. So let me just say on the record here, it's Chris. Matthew's excused. We do have still Cosette on the roll call, and I thought in our last meeting that we had made some decisions regarding.
Yeah, I'll provide an update on Cosette until formal action has been processed by the city council. She will remain on there, but I'll give an update at the end of the meeting on that.
Okay, great. And then you said Michaela is also excused as well. So we'll go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that what we're then our next item on the agenda?
Yes. Good news is we do have a flag on the way. It is not here yet, but we do have one coming for the room. So until then, let me just pull something up. How about that one? There we go. Lisa, we'll let you lead.
All righty. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Oh, there's Matt.
So we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. Let me just pull this up on my own screen because I'm feeling like I'm.
And Lisa, just for the record, Matt just joined. Matt, are you okay with Lisa chairing since we don't know if you're going to be here, or how would you want to move forward on that?
Yes, I would prefer that for this one because I'm on the road and I may be in and out of service areas. So,
Okay.
Do we need a motion or anything for that?
I would just refer to the time that he entered the meeting.
Sure. All righty. So Lisa, next item would be the approval of the agenda.
Right. And so I'm looking on my screen here for the agenda and it's not showing up. I may have to,
If you're having trouble with the Zoom video, let me send you a link to the, I'll send a link here so you can take a look at it outside of that. Just 1 second.
I was just getting, yeah, I was actually looking back on your past.
Well, I'm sharing my screen right now, which shows the agenda. Can you see that?
So what I'm seeing is actually just our minutes and agenda items, but I'm not actually seeing the agenda. So, and it's kind of locking up my screen here a bit.
I'll send you a new link to the packet, and the agenda is going to be the first page of the packet there. So just 1 second.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look here. Okay. So I have the packet in front of me. We've got the call to order approval agenda, which is,
So we'll need one of the members to make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I make a motion to approve today's agenda for September 11th.
I second it.
And then Lisa, we'll need a vote for all in favor to approve the agenda.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we will move on to the approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they stand.
This is from August 14th. So we will need a member to second the motion from Lynn.
I second to approve the minutes from August 14th meeting.
And then we'll need a vote of approval from the commission.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion is passed. Any public comment?
There are no members of the public present, and we have not received any public comments up to this point.
Okay. And we have a presentation. It says none. That was from last month. Do we have any presentations this month?
There are no presentations, no public hearings, and no action items. We do have a workshop.
Right. The workshop is the downtown revitalization project, review of submissions for the utility box design. Is that first on our?
I think that may be the agenda from last month's meeting. Today we have a workshop for rotational art opportunities on city property policy review. Which we can start. Just a moment here. So this is the only item on today's agenda, and it shouldn't take too long. We're just going to review several changes that were recommended by several departments regarding the public art display policy. These departments were administration and city hall, as well as our parks and rec. And most of them were very minor. They were just adjusting the language in some of these sections. We initially went over this policy piece, I believe it was in either the June or the July meeting. So this should seem really familiar. The changes that were proposed, you can see here with the crossing and the italics. So City Hall wanted waiting room crossed out, instead use the term lobby, which isn't a big deal. So we went ahead and implemented that. There were two other minor corrections. Chad to do under the explicit content right of refusal. Instead of having this last section here. So the section reads, because of the public nature, artwork may not contain advertising, religious, art, sexual, violent, or other content unsuitable for all ages. It originally also included and cannot convey political partisanship. Instead, we cross that out and just add political. So it's essentially saying the same thing. It's just formatted a little differently. And then the last piece was from Parks and Rec, and they wanted to be a little more specific down here regarding the Hold Harmless Statement. So this sentence was city-owned operated facilities will be required instead of may be required to sign a Hold Harmless Statement. So that essentially is waiving liability from any issues that may take place if the art is damaged while in city custody, that sort of thing. So just a few changes. And really that's all it is. Other than that, all other departments are ready to go for this. So if you're okay with adopting this policy, we can adopt it. The next step would be to begin advertising, which is under this advertising section of how we're going to do that. We do have a review schedule on here, and then the next meeting we would review would be December. So that would allow October and November for us to advertise to see if we can get some submissions to be displayed at city-owned properties. We could review them in December and then maybe select some or do some theming for January.
So do we need a motion to accept these policies?
Yes, with the changes to the document.
Okay, I motion to accept these policies with the noted revisions.
I second it.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
We have Chris and Matt.
Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry. Did you say I didn't have you up?
Yeah, aye.
Okay,
Thank you. And Matt, can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah,
Are you?
voting for it. Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you, Joe. That was just for the record there.
So that was a unanimous vote in support of the policy.
Great.
carries.
Well, we will begin work on advertising and we will provide an update at next month's meeting. Again, this will come to a head in December per the schedule. So.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the action items, is that correct?
So the next item would be
Oh, wait,
commissioners'
it is
reports.
commissioner reports, excuse me, yes, okay.
So if any commissioners have anything they want to report on or discuss with the group.
At this point, it sounds like there's no commissioner reports. We'll go on to staff reports.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to provide updates on a few items. The first one being the utility wrap project. We have reached out to the winning artist, let them know that they have won, and we have arranged a time. I'm going to meet with her on Wednesday and collect the art to get it scanned in. I've talked to several people on scanning. I've talked to several people on printing as well. Chris, Standard, the one you recommended, Standard Downtown. I spoke to them about the possibility of whether they think it could work or not. They believe they can make it work. They said they can get up to 800 DPI on it and it should work. So I do have I'm going to meet with her on Wednesday to grab that art, run down, get it scanned, and then we'll go from there. So we are currently still waiting on a thumbs up from WatchDOT to let us know that they have replaced that box. So once we get it scanned, we'll still be kind of in limbo until we know for sure that that box has been replaced. But that's kind of where it's at. We're working on getting the scan in, and then we'll work on getting it printed. But we need to wait for WatchDOT to get the box in. Once they get the box in and we get the wrap and everything's good to go, we will schedule a time to do an unveiling essentially. The city council had mentioned that that is something they were interested in doing. So it'll be a kind of a co-event between the Arts Commission and City Council. So I'll provide updates next month at the next month's meeting. Hopefully we'll be a little further down the road, but that's where we're at right now. Secondly, regarding the decision on Commissioner Phillips from last month's meeting, I am actually going to City Council here in a few hours to let them know of the Arts Commission's decision and their desire to remove Commissioner Phillips and advertise for a new position. It does require the mayor, or in our case, the city council chair, to remove Commissioner Phillips. So once that's done, which will either be tonight or probably next Monday, because typically they introduce items and then they take action at a legislative session. So it should be completed by the time we meet next month, and we can begin the process of advertising to fill that position. So that's where we're at on those two items. Heather, did you have anything you wanted to provide updates on?
I'll just put the city's going through the budgeting process for 2024. And we've identified some additional funding that would be available to the Arts Commission for next year for programming. This funding was sourced actually through our contract with Lime Scooters. That was part of a contract that we wrote with Lime in lieu of collecting on a per trip charge. So Zachary will be working on programming that funding for 2024, which will be used for art and also for pop-up traffic calming projects in the city. And we will also be working in 2024 on additional art funding based on the new City Hall project. So as you know, the voters supported a ballot measure to allow for the acquisition of a new building that's already constructed over at Garfield north of US 2. That facility will eventually house the fire department, the police department, the courts, administrative, and building and planning department. So we're working through identifying the source of funding that would be allowed to be set aside for art around that building as a city hall. So if you're familiar with the funding ordinance with regards to capital projects, it identifies a percentage of capital projects to be set aside for use for art. And so as we dig a little bit more and get information on that, we'll be sharing that in the coming months with the Arts Commission. So in short, there'll be opportunities this fall and winter to have programming discussions with the Arts Commission about how some of those funds may be utilized, and for some of them will be related directly to the capital projects such as City Hall as it moves over there, how to incorporate art in the new City Hall. And the Lime funding is not tied to a specific location, and how the Arts Commission would like to see programming for that. And then, of course, we still have the remainder of the funding for the downtown revitalization that's available through the waste management franchise agreement. We can continue on programming discussions with. So lots of great opportunities as we look into the remainder of 2023 and 2024.
That sounds great.
And with that, that kind of concludes an update from staff. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that update. I appreciate it. It's always good to know kind of how we're supposed to integrate into the master plan, if you will. And as an Arts Commission member, it's important for me for that feedback to make sure that we're doing, we're actually doing a good job here. So I appreciate that. So our next meeting will be October 9th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. If there are no other reports or feedback, I would say that we could adjourn this meeting at 2:28 p.m. Is that correct?
I have 227, but I'm sure it doesn't really matter that much. So,
I just had a quick question.
sure.
I was gone last time, so the removal of Commissioner Phillips, can you go into a little more detail about why?
Yeah, so the discussion revolved around she has not been in contact with staff or Chair Stevens since I believe March. We have staff has reached out as well as Chair Stevens has reached out. She has not attended a meeting since March. So in our policy, there is a if you miss 3 meetings in a 12-month period, you forfeit your seat. And that's kind of it generally is there.
Following up on that, there were inquiries as to ways to help make it available for her to be able to participate in the meetings. And we've received no responses to any of the email inquiries by either the chair or staff over several months.
Okay. Sounds good.
So just following up on that, the process is, just to refresh my memory, it has to go through a review with the mayor, is that correct? Or
Yeah.
approval with the mayor? Okay.
Yeah, all arts commissioners are appointed or removed by the mayor. So much like when everyone was appointed, we brought everyone individually to the mayor and city council for review and appointment. This will be brought to the city council with the arts commission's recommendation.
Okay, so, and then we can expect that this will be resolved by our next meeting, or how long does that process take?
Yeah, so I'll be taking it to the city council tonight to introduce it. Typically they ask for 2 meetings. So in a study session, we introduce items that we're going to be presenting in a legislative session. So tonight I'll introduce it, and then I'll bring it back next Monday for a vote.
All right. Does that satisfy everybody's questions as far as the process and how that works and where we're at with? Okay, perfect. All right. Are there any other reports, input, considerations that we'd like to address before we conclude our meeting today? All right, then I'd like to, what is your time? My time says 2:31. I don't know what time, or wait, 2:29. What is your guys' time say?
I have 2:30.
Okay, well, we'll call it a day at 2:30.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.